Oh boy, do we have big news in Bitcoin. The big boys seem to be coming in. The trillion-dollar asset managers have their eyes on Bitcoin and kind of flipping their tune, flipping the script. We've gone from people like Jamie Dimon sitting on stage saying how bad Bitcoin is to now Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, talking about how good it can be and what you can actually use it for. So it seems like there's a bit of a flip going on. And he recently was on TV, Larry Fink here, talking about Bitcoin and crypto, I guess, but Bitcoin, not crypto. But he talked about Bitcoin called an international asset and talked pretty good about it.
And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold in many ways. Instead of investing in gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the onerous problems of any one country, or the devaluation of your currency, whatever country you're in. Let's be clear, Bitcoin is an international asset. It's not based on any one currency. And so it can represent an asset that people can play as an alternative. I would call the foundation of BlackRock is about hope. You invest for retirement because you believe tomorrow is better than today.
So there you go. You got Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock here, talking about Bitcoin and crypto, which I would disagree with that part of when him talking, saying crypto is going to digitize gold. Crypto isn't going to do that at all. Bitcoin is, right? Bitcoin can do that and be a digital gold. No other crypto can do that, right? No other one. They're all securities according to the SEC and centralized, much different properties. None of them, no other crypto stacks up to Bitcoin. So I think that's a pretty important thing to make a distinction about. But other than that, I mean, we have the world's largest asset manager, almost $9 trillion from BlackRock, talking positively about Bitcoin and saying that it can digitize gold, saying that people could invest in it to fight inflation and to, store value for the long term, to look forward to say tomorrow is going to be better than today, which is all, crazy things to see coming out now, because just a couple years ago, even last year, they would never think of doing anything like this. Talking positively about Bitcoin was like a career risk, which is also a big thing that comes out of this with someone, BlackRock, what people, hate them or love them, they are credible in this space, in this investing and finance space, because they're massive. So with people like them and CEO of BlackRock coming out and saying things like this, it completely reduces the career risk. You can see this right here saying the CEO of the largest asset manager on earth calling Bitcoin digital gold on live TV significantly decreases the career risk of portfolio managers holding BTC, which is one of the big things too. Not only do you have this positive talk going on where you're saying, Bitcoin is good, Bitcoin can be this and do this and serve a good purpose. It does allow people to now maybe invest in Bitcoin portfolios, 1%, 2%, 5%, even if it's a super small amount. It allows people to just even get started exploring that without worrying about the career risk. Because before, massive career risk. You weren't allowed to even talk about Bitcoin in things like JP Morgan stuff and Jamie Dimon, those guys. They didn't allow their people to ever even think about Bitcoin. But now, the big dogs are getting in, and now it's a lot less scary. It's a lot less career risk, because the big guys are saying, yeah, this Bitcoin thing could be something pretty cool. And now, if you ignore them and you don't get involved, and they are right, and they have the money to be right, then you're going to look really dumb. I guess we can see this response here, saying very different what they said in 2017. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink calls Bitcoin an index of money laundering. So I guess BlackRock has been in the past not the biggest fan of Bitcoin. That's typically what people start out as, especially these big finance guys, right? They don't like that they were wrong over this last decade and they got outperformed by a random person who bought Bitcoin 10 years ago and forgot about it, right? So a lot of these guys didn't ever even look into Bitcoin. They just labeled it as something dumb because they couldn't be bothered. But now they're forced to be bothered because Bitcoin's here, it didn't go away. It's only gotten extremely more valuable. So if you continue to ignore it, then you might find yourself on the sinking ship. And also, he talks about gold, digitizing gold and stuff. You can see they think Bitcoin is coming for the gold market, which I think is true, right? People compare Bitcoin to digital gold, which can be a good comparison, right? But in a value sense, that over or underestimates Bitcoin, right? When you look at gold and you say gold is $12 trillion market cap, Bitcoin at $12 trillion market cap is this per coin. That's the top for Bitcoin could ever get to. Bitcoin, it can be digital gold, but it is this store of wealth for people. So when you look at store of wealth, people store wealth in a lot of different things, not just gold. And I would argue most people don't store their wealth in gold. So if we look at this type of stuff here, this is 2020 rates and stuff. Basically, global real estate, which real estate is another way people store wealth. Obviously, you want to get out of fiat, out of money. You want to get into something that's going to store your wealth, whether it's real estate, gold, stocks, something, right? You want something to store that wealth in. And you see gold here is the 12 trillion, but if you go over, even residential real estate is 258.5 trillion. So there's a ton of money out there. There's a huge market that Bitcoin could take a chunk. It's not going to take all of it, right? But it could take a lot of it because this store of wealth thought, if people are buying real estate for store of wealth and maybe some cash flow and stuff, maybe there's some people that say, I don't want to deal with the hassles of real estate. I'll just buy Bitcoin and hold that. And that could be, if it's 1%, then that's still $2.5 trillion. If it's 10%, you're looking at $26 trillion, right? So you start to get a ton of money that could be flowing into Bitcoin as a way to store wealth and not just compared to gold. Even equities too, 109 trillion, you get a chunk of that. If you get a chunk of some of these, all of these different ways people are trying to store wealth, that's a ton of money that can flow into Bitcoin. And obviously, the more money is flowing into Bitcoin, there's not a lot of Bitcoin to go around. The price has to go up to reflect that. So a pretty big day for Bitcoin and Bitcoiners. If you own it, hold it, think about it. It's insane to see BlackRock come out and speak positively on it, right? It's a difference from what they typically do, and probably means that they're pretty serious about their Bitcoin ETF they want to get involved in. Obviously, it's BlackRock, so people aren't going to really like them. There's no reason to look out and trust BlackRock and say, oh my God, they're here, the savior, right? Like their ETF. You don't need to buy their ETF if you're a normal person. Just go buy Bitcoin, right? So we can see this is still overall good news, and you don't have to like BlackRock to realize that it can be a good thing. That's going to do it for this video. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.